Welcome to another exciting episode. This time, I'm going to be taking a look at the arcade games of TAD Corporation. Founded in 1988 by former employees of Data East, TAD Corporation produced a small run of arcade games during the 5 years they were active. So let's start right at the beginning with an absolute classic. Cabal is considered one of TAD Corporation's most memorable titles due to its innovative gameplay and trackball controls. It's one of the first gallery-style shooters that allowed control of a character and aiming of your weapon at the same time. Up to 2 players must fight their way through 5 military-themed stages, with each consisting of several scenes and an end-of-stage boss battle. Players are armed with a standard rapid-fire gun with unlimited ammo, which can be temporarily upgraded with power-ups during each stage. The player's movement and aiming are controlled by either the trackball or joystick, depending on the version of the arcade cabinet. Later versions had a joystick instead of the original trackball controls. You have a dedicated dodge button and another button to throw bombs, which cause more damage than the standard weapon. Cabal isn't just a classic because of its innovative design, it was and still is an incredibly enjoyable arcade game. There are similar and arguably better games like this available, such as Wild Guns, but Cabal just feels incredibly simple and straightforward, and it's the perfect pick up and play gallery shooter. In 1989, TAD Corporation unleashed Toki, an arcade run-and-gun game which sees the player take control of an ape who can fire different weapons from his mouth. Toki is originally a human character, but when a witch doctor kidnaps his tribe's princess, he also transforms Toki into an ape, and this is where your rescue mission begins. The game does require quick reactions, as enemies will often appear out of nowhere and require multiple hits. This is just one of the challenges the game throws at you. Difficult platforming sections, cheap bosses, it has it all. There is no denying just how difficult and frustrating Toki can be at times, and memorising sections of each level is crucial if you're going to progress. Games like Toki are what made arcades so intriguing back in that era. You knew you would never get that far on one credit, but if you could just get that bit further and perhaps reach a stage you hadn't seen before, it would all be worth it. TAD Corporation's next game was a follow-up to Cabal, only this time the game featured a Wild West theme. Blood Brothers arrived in arcades in 1990, and out of all of the company's arcade games, this is the one I played the most. I used to travel to a London recording studio with my dad as he was working in the building. I used to hang out in the lounge, sometimes for the whole weekend, where there was MTV, plenty of food, and a Blood Brothers arcade cabinet. I was lucky enough to play this cabinet with some pretty famous people, which to a kid of my age at the time was an absolutely amazing experience. The game itself plays just like Cabal, with the same movement, aim, dodge and bomb attacks. Graphically, everything has been vastly improved, there is a lot more detail in the enemies and locations, and even things that appear in the distance are now a lot clearer. Obviously, nostalgia plays a massive part in my love for this game, but like Cabal, it's just incredibly fun. Blasting through the waves of enemies, to clearing each scene and finishing it with a dance, Blood Brothers is a great gallery shooter and one I'd definitely recommend checking out. 1992 would see the release of Legionnaire. This was TAD Corporation's attempt at a scrolling beat-em-up, and although it brings nothing new to the table, it was still a solid entry in the genre. The city has been taken over by the Crimson Gang, and it's up to our group of heroes to stop them. To add a bit of drama to the story, the Crimson Gang also kidnap a member of your team. The gameplay is very basic, featuring a standard attack button and a jump button which when pressed together perform a special grenade attack. The graphics are bold and the characters are well designed, and each stage fits the mood of the game perfectly. It's far from being one of the best scrolling beat-em-ups, but I'll definitely recommend playing it if you're a fan of the genre. (1992) also saw the release of Heated Barrel. This was a Wild West themed, auto-scrolling run-and-gun game, which up to 4 players could participate in. The game is fast-paced, with most enemies needing just one hit. The standard weapon can be upgraded to a dual shot, making it much easier to deal with multiple enemies. The cartoon-style graphics are well presented, and each stage features a variety of enemy types and bosses, with some stages also featuring a sub-boss. Heated Barrel is a really enjoyable pick-up-and-play game that is definitely worth a look if you get a chance. So that was TAD Corporation. 2 games that I'd consider arcade classics which were ported to a lot of home consoles and computers, and 3 games that never left the arcade. Toki was remade for the Nintendo Switch and PC, and featured redrawn graphics and an awesome remixed soundtrack, so if you're a fan of the original, I'd definitely recommend checking it out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below and subscribe to the channel for future content.